Okay, in this video we are going to we're going to cover how do we go about asking for the business, asking for the order. What we know is tension will be high, so how do we address the tension? Okay, so firstly, we're at the stage now, let's assume we've got an 8+ on our cottage caravan. It's within the agreed budget, and we've also found a site, a pitch that the customers are happy with, again, 8+. Okay, at this stage, I can promise you that the customers will expect you to ask them if they'd like to buy it. The customers will expect you to ask for the business. Please, please, please don't disappoint them. Okay? Okay, so, however, at this point, where's their tension? Where's your tension? Because the customers know it's coming. So the tension will be high. How are we going to go about bringing that tension down? I'm going to make a suggestion to you, and it sounds a bit like this. Okay, how are we doing? Now, we've got an 8, but before I ask you to take the next steps with me, is there any questions or any questions you would like answered, or is there anything else you would like me to recap for you, anything we haven't covered? Assuming the answer is no, well then, what are we going to do? We're going to ask for the business. Okay, so what we've done there, we've effectively asked for their permission. Okay, I think we're about there on the caravan, we're about there on the pitch, but before I ask you to take the next steps with me, or take the next steps together, is there anything you would like me to clarify? Any questions I haven't answered properly for you? No? Okay, well, in that case, shall we go and do the paperwork? How would you like to leave the deposit? I'm delighted, it looks like you're going to join us. How soon do we want to set up your handover date? It's questions like that is how we ask for the business. There's 101 different ways, and I can't tell you what's appropriate for every single client, and I can't tell you what's appropriate in every single case. You have to trust your tummy, and you have to trust experience. You'll know when the moment is right. Okay, so here we are. We've asked for the business, and we're going to get one of 3 answers. Yes, whoopie doo, super duper. No, which is most unlikely at this stage. What we are more likely to get if it's a no is, that's absolutely great, you've been a wonderful salesperson today, but you've given us lots and lots of information. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go home and think about it. Okay, so what do we do in this situation? Where's our tension? Where's their tension? It's very high. What we know is we're not going to be able to dig down and have a proper conversation with the customer while we have high relationship tension. So how are we going to get that tension down? A suggestion for you, little skill practice, a little skill demonstration again. And this is about what I recommend that you say at that stage, or this stage. That's completely fine. Okay? Funny enough, you're not the first customer who's ever said it to me, and I very much doubt if you're the last customer who's ever told me they're going to have to go home and think about it. And that's completely fine, because if you remember, right at the very, very beginning, when we first met today, when we first sat down, I said to you, as a family, I said, whatever you decide to do is completely up to you. It's your decision. But just before you go, would it be okay if I just did a very brief recap, confirmed your contact details, and just agreed with you sort of what the next steps are going to be, where we're going to go next? And I think providing that the relationship tension is reasonable and you've built a decent relationship based on trust, it is very few customers who are going to say no to that. Okay? So, a customer who otherwise has said point blank no, they're very rare. And if that ever happens to you, the first thing I'd ask you, where has the tension been throughout the process? So we've got that. I want to think about it. We've agreed that we're going to do a brief recap and agree the next steps. So this is where you go back to your owner information pack and we go on to page 21. Okay, and we're reviewing what we've discussed with the customers. Who was going to use the cottage, the caravan? What's the main purpose? Were they going to sublet? Were they going to join the rental program? Which of the funding options was their preference? What was the budget? What were the basic requirements what we're looking for in the cottage caravan? And I'd also want to know at this stage, because from a marketing point of view, how did they hear about us? We've absolutely earned the right to understand that, because that is an important point for us. Okay, and then not only that, but what made them turn up today? What was the trigger that made them get in their car this morning and drive to the resort? I then want to review where we got to with the caravans, with the cottages, and with the pitches, the sites, and the scoring of 1 through 10. It's important that we have presented them with a high quality price quote. Scribbling on a piece of paper for tens of thousands of pounds, dollars, is not acceptable. We need a high quality price quote. We can go through the quote and just confirm with them exactly what is and what is not included. We do a quick review of the discovery visit. What should they think about? What do families get for their money? How could families fund, and what happens with it when they say yes? Now, when you do a brief recap of that, once in a while, and it is only once in a while, you will actually discover that something was missed. And it will give you the opportunity to go back and cover that question. Yeah, that question, and occasionally you'll be able to retrieve that and turn it from we want to go home and think about it to yes, thank you very much. It's understanding what the real issue is. Okay, and then we talk about how we're going to keep in touch. What's the best way to talk to these customers? Is it by phone? Is it by text, SMS? Is it email? What's the best way? And what's the next steps? When should we be talking to them again, and about what? Because there are such things as customers who come back to us, there are feedbacks. But let's just make that really calm, because we've got the tension right down. We've just sort of, deep breath. Okay, so briefly to recap. Remember, our role is wherever possible to do business on the day. Okay, don't be frightened of objection. We are going to talk about how we address those in the next video. Understand the product is not right for everybody, and there is not magic pixie dust. But if we've done the entire tour properly, we've used our owner information pack, we've shown product based on what it is, what it does, what it means to them, we've established a proper budget, we maximize our chances of doing business. Okay,